You know, he's got me leaning forward every damn time we come on. I don't even know.
Are we physically on
We
it?
are on the air.
Are we physically on too?
We are on
Oh,
live.
okay.
We are live on the air. And Mr. D from Laugh Talk Giggle, the host, is going to introduce our guest. And I just co-host, Lady J, always a lady, will sit here and observe and learn from Mr. D. Roll 'em! Action!
You gotta speak. It's radio.
Right. They're looking at you on the camera.
They're looking at me because they see you throwing me up under the bus yet again.
I am learning.
You learning?
Yes. Good evening.
Welcome everybody to Laugh Talk Giggle, right? Thanks for watching on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Streaming live every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter Live. Please like, comment, subscribe, and tag a friend. And I gotta quit on the table. So the gentleman we have with us tonight is this gentleman over here, right? He's gonna talk about. Initially, we're supposed to do the first Black Bottom Heritage Festival, but we postponed it till next year. In the vicinity of Shane and Ferry. He also owns Recovery Park over there.
No, we don't own it.
I'm
It's
sorry.
a non-profit.
I'm
Please
sorry.
don't say that.
I apologize.
That
It's a
lady that
non-profit.
confronted you today is gonna
Yeah.
watching the show.
Yes,
I knew it.
I knew it. I knew it. Right,
President
yeah,
and CEO.
yeah,
Give-
he's CEO of a non-profit called Recovery Park over in the area. Mr.
Welcome.
Gary Watson. Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you for
I gotta
having
get
me.
that little yay. So my question is, what is Recovery Park?
So Recovery Park's a nonprofit that was started in 2008.
Okay.
And it was started as a program at Share House, which is a drug treatment program in the city of Detroit. And I was doing development work for them.
Okay.
And our mission is to create jobs for people with barriers to employment, so people coming out of prisons and drug treatment programs and with other barriers to traditional employment, could be chronic homelessness or poverty or lack of education. And the mission is really close to my heart because I'm a recovering addict. I've been in recovery since '87, and
Okay.
I also am a returning citizen, so I spent 3.5 years in federal prison because of my addiction. And what we do is we create jobs for people with businesses that we launch, mostly in the food space. And then we employ people and give them a wage, but then we also support them with housing support or transportation support, or somebody needed glasses the other day, so we pay for those sorts of things to make sure that they get really stable. And the more stable they get, the demand for those services decreases, and then eventually they can either move up the ladder as we grow, or they can go get other jobs.
Oh, okay. Now, do you keep how are you tracking number of people successful as we've helped X number of people? Do you do that are you grant funded?
We're grant funded, and we're also funded by borrowing, by loans that we pay back based on the revenue that we generate off our farm.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So we track. We don't have tons of people going through our doors because we're not a large organization yet. So we've
Okay.
had close to 30 people that have gone through our program since we actually launched our first business 4 years ago.
Okay.
And of those 30 people, only one of them, well, that one person is back with us now, so he came out of retirement. But all of the people, for the most part, have stayed clean and have
Awesome.
definitely stayed out of prison and out of
Okay.
the penal system. So we do follow up for a 3-year time frame.
Okay.
Probably our biggest success story is a guy by the name of Tony. So Tony came to us after spending 35 years in prison. He went in when he was a teenager, and he went down for a violent crime. And when he came out, he literally had never seen a phone or a computer or anything. And within 3 years, he is married. He's got a house. He's making $100,000 a year as a welder living in Atlanta.
Awesome.
So I mean, we're successful at what we do on a very small scale.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So then you said you start businesses.
Yes.
Example of the businesses that you start.
So our first business was Recovery Park Farms. So we grow produce for the restaurant industry. We have
okay.
1 acre of indoor growing on our site off Shane and Ferry. We grow specialty greens predominantly for Southern style restaurants at this point. So mustards and collards and well, come on by. We'll give you some.
I will, because I love collard
Rudy
greens.
should have brought you some today.
I love greens, but collards and kale. Love.
Well, we have kale
Like
too.
kale?
I mix them.
You do?
Yep, I mix
I've
collards
never,
and kale. You don't like kale?
No. Is that? No, I've never
I bet you've had it on a salad before.
and didn't know it.
I
Probably.
didn't know it. It's very
yeah.
dark green. It's a little bitter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and that
never.
if you go to Olive Garden, it's in that zuppa Toscani soup. It's like an Italian soup.
Yeah,
It's
I
potato.
don't never
Oh.
get this. I just get the salad.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, forget about that.
Okay,
So that's the first business that we launched.
That's the very first one you started, where
Right.
Tony was assisting with.
Yes.
Okay.
And prior to COVID, we were in 35 restaurants,
Oh, okay.
and we had a distributor out of Eastern Market, Delbane Produce, that was ready to get us into a more major market.
Okay.
We had conversations going on with Myers and a couple of other grocery store chains, and then we literally had to shut down our operations during COVID. COVID really changed the nature of how we buy food, and it really hasn't come back yet, but we decided to relaunch in the spring of this year,
Okay.
and spent a lot of capital dollars improving our greenhouses and rehiring our people. So that's the first business that we launched. The next business that we're in the process of starting back up is Recovery Park Foods. So Recovery Park Foods actually does what we call value-added production. So they take what we grow and we make product out of it. So we're in the process of acquiring a local catering company
Okay.
that's doing about a $500,000 a year in sales. We feel that there's probably a $2 million a year sales that we could be doing with the company. And they basically cater to graduations and birthdays and funerals and weddings and those sorts of things. And we should have that sealed up by the 1st of October.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Now, with the catering, I always think, because I'm in the gerontology area, and a lot of our seniors don't get like fresh vegetables and fruits in their home delivered meals. So I'm always, and a lot of them are now going into being vegan. So they're always asking, do you have a company that's doing vegan, or do you have a company that's doing? We don't have that.
Don't go vegan.
And, yeah, but at least get the vegetables.
Lobster's
and the
good for you.
a lot of them, because they either high blood pressure or
Yeah.
diabetes, they have certain diets, cholesterol smart, so they're trying to well, I want to try vegan or something. So, and we have no one that's offering like vegan options or anything.
So this catering company right now specializes in Polish and Italian food.
Oh, are they in Hamtramck?
No, they're based in Dearborn.
Oh, okay.
We plan on building out an 8,000 square foot commercial kitchen in our neighborhood, in a building that we currently own.
What you just said, the Shane Ferry
The Shane
area?
Ferry area.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So we own a building, and we're converting it into a rental space that should be open by this time next year for 16,000 square feet, so people can come and have parties there or dances there
Oh,
or
nice.
those sorts of things. But then we're putting a commercial kitchen in the basement, and that commercial kitchen will employ about 12 people, and we're going to expand our menu. So we're going to get into some other things. We're going to get into prepackaged salads,
Okay.
and then we'll expand our growing operations too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now, where's you said you have one area that you farm out of?
Yeah, so the nonprofit owns 347 lots in the city of Detroit, all off Shane and Ferry, which is like Shane and 94.
Yeah, I know that.
And most of it's contiguous property, so we have 8 greenhouses that we grow in soil, right off of Kirby and Shane.
I know the area.
Yeah.
That's over there where the old fruit market area.
Yeah, so we own
Okay.
we own the old fruit
Oh,
market.
you own it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're getting bids now to restore the property and
Okay.
turn it into a music, art, and food venue.
Oh, that's gonna be nice.
And we're collaborating with it just escaped my name. We're connecting with Experience Faith,
Yeah,
which
Experience
is
Faith,
which is Andre Butler's church. They just bought not St. Albertus, St. Stanislaus Church in our neighborhood, right on Meldrum. So he's got 110,000 people following him online.
Wow.
And then we're also connected with the Raven Lounge, which is on Shane. So the Raven Lounge is the oldest continuously operating blues club in the country.
Really?
Yeah, and they do live shows on weekends.
Oh, they're still open.
Oh, they're still open.
Oh.
Yeah, Tommy Stevens owns it.
I don't know.
Yep.
No, that I don't know. I don't know what a Raven Lounge is.
Oh, you have to go.
I will,
It's
because I'm
really cool.
nosy. It's interesting because I lived over that area when I first moved to Detroit.
Okay.
So I kind of know it, but I haven't been over there in so long, I don't remember a lot of stuff. But I'd never heard of the Raven Lounge. So, when I leave, I'm going to be calling people like, have you heard of?
Yeah. But one of the things, so to your question about vegan, one of the things that there's a lack of, particularly in urban areas, is access to pre-made fresh vegetables at a reasonable price.
Right.
So, you can go to like Louis and you can buy a salad, but it's like $14. And I mean, most people aren't going to pay that for a salad because you can buy
And
$14 will buy you a week's worth of salad fixings, right?
Right. And it's not even a good lettuce. It's that iceberg lettuce, which is like paper. You might as well just eat a piece of paper. There's no nutritional value.
My mother loved iceberg lettuce.
Really?
She'd use iceberg lettuce as chip dip for 2 cups of ranch dressing. She was 94. She didn't have good taste buds.
That's not bad though. I mean, made it to 94.
Yep.
So maybe we should develop some of those habits. So now, you do felon-friendly employment. Are you working with other agencies?
So we work with a lot of different agencies in the city. None in particular, like exclusively.
Okay.
We work with Michigan Alliance. Is that what it is? To do expungement fairs.
Okay.
We work with Southwest Solutions on housing opportunities.
Okay.
But I do have to say this. So the word felon, when you say felon friendly, so I'm trying to change the dialogue around how people.
Okay.
I had a piano taken out of my basement because nobody wanted it and it was starting to dry rot. So these 3 guys showed up in call 800 junk. And they're talking. I asked them how they got the jobs, and 2 of them says, "Well, we're ex-felons, and we just came out of prison, and they're the only people who hire us." I said, "Please don't say that." And they said, "Why?" I said, "Well, when I went to prison because I committed a felony. The day I got released, I became Gary, tax-paying citizen. I'm not an ex-anything. I'm not an ex-felon. So I'm trying to change the dialogue about how people see us."
Oh, okay. So now, what is it that you want them to say? Because there's always going to be some type of title attached to it. It is what it is in our community. So like when we worked in, remember when we used to call our clients, whether participants or something, we had to change the term.
Yeah.
We could, because they didn't like the term, but it always is a term attached to it. So and I agree with the stigma that's attached to it, but then we have to come up with a new dialogue and a new term that is more receptive and less stagnation to it. It's not doing it.
So what I tell people is, it's nobody's business if you've been in prison or not, first of all. Okay, if you're ever confronted with it. So I talk very freely about having been in prison, but I also talk about the successes that I've had since I came out in 1991, and I focus on that. So I tell people that they can be anything they want to be. They can achieve anything they want as long as they set some goals and align themselves with people who can help achieve those goals, and then don't listen to the noise, which are all the people, don't do this, don't do that. And I said, if people continue to call you a name, just tell them, my name is Gary. It's not, there is nothing, and try and get rid of the stigma that way. I don't think we need a label attached to it.
Well, I agree with that, but the stigma comes in employment because it's on the application. Have you committed a felony? That's where I'm looking at. I'm not looking at it in
I
general.
thought you got rid of that.
No, it depends on what company that you're coming from. It's still on some things, because I see a lot of stuff that comes through us, and they're always asking, where can we help individuals get jobs from? Like, even some of the car dealers, they'll say they don't, the manufacturers say they don't discriminate, but I know people who have not been able to get employment because of that.
Just because the box isn't on there doesn't mean they don't do background checks.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So-
And also it's for like certain jobs too, like you can't be a CNA, you can't be a CNA if you have a history of felony. So certain things are prohibiting it. So that's why I'm saying not in general conversation, because I think nobody really cares. It's just when it comes to employment, when it comes to certain educational opportunities, you're limited to those things.
So
and
I've done
housing, unfortunately, low income housing.
So I've done some testifying in Lansing and Washington, D.C. to try and change some of that. So in Michigan, there are 1,800 job classifications that people coming out of prison cannot qualify for. So because I committed a financial crime, even though I've been out of prison for over 30 years, I can't go mop floors in a nursing home because they think I'm going to steal money from old people.
Wow.
So what I'm doing is trying to change the dialogue in government corridors to start getting rid of some of those things. But what I tell people is when they go on a job interview and somebody asks, have you been in prison? Be honest and say yes, but then change the conversation and go, but since I've been out, these are the things that I've done to improve my life.
Okay.
And then move from that to talk about, and these are the job skills that I bring to the table, and you would be remiss in not hiring me.
All right. Okay, I like that. That's a better way to do it. Okay. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
What do you think? You're sitting there like,
You're sitting there in pain.
oh, you're in pain. Oh, we didn't. You're not supposed to tell him he old. And I'm sorry.
They can see that on TV.
Never mind them.
Okay.
Never
No,
mind.
because I see a lot of, I get stuff that's sent to me all the time. They're asking, where can we find opportunities for this? And there's a lot of companies that do hire and they don't ask questions or they look after so many years. But another thing that a lot of, and it's a surprising number, a lot of our seniors who are looking for housing, that's one of the issues they come up against because it's supposed to be after 10 years, it doesn't matter. But a lot of these housing places, when it's low income, they won't. I recently just experienced that where they would not let my person in.
So that's because MISHA's doing the funding, the Michigan Housing Authority.
Yep.
And MISHA has a guideline that says if you've been in prison, you cannot go into our housing complexes. Why the government hasn't changed that, I don't know. But I mean, people are working on trying to get that changed because, I mean, I'm paying taxes. I should be able to get, any service that the government offers
I agree.
without any discrimination. There are companies that do, I mean, you just gotta find them, right, but from the housing standpoint, like Southwest Solutions has some dedicated housing just for people coming out of prisons. As far as jobs go, there isn't a major employer in southeastern Michigan that isn't felon-friendly, as you put it.
Right.
So the auto companies, DTE, Consumer Power, Blue Cross, they're all hiring people coming out of prisons. As a matter of fact, in the prison system, they have something called vocational villages, so they've got 2 of them. And a vocational village is basically a 400,000 square foot factory outside the prison wall that when people have a year or year and a half left before the release, they can go outside the wall for 9 hours like they're going to a job, and they can get training in specific skills that employers want. So, for example, DTE right now is looking for tree trimmers.
Yeah.
And the tree trimmers start at $18.50 an hour, and then after 6 weeks they go to like $26 an hour. They're training people in the vocational villages to be tree trimmers, so the day they come out of jail or prison, they have a job.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And statistically, so the faster somebody gets a job, the lower the recidivism rate. So within the first 3 months, if somebody coming out of prison gets a job, they're probably not going back to prison. 3 to 6 months, there's a 30% chance they're going to go back to prison. 6 to 9 months, there's a 70% chance, and if they haven't had a job in a year, they're probably going back to prison.
Yeah,
So it behooves us as a society to get people back into the workforce as fast as possible.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. Stone face. How you gonna be a social worker and just sit there and be like,
So Rudy provides our social service
Do you?
platform. So he takes care of things like the housing and the transportation
Aw.
and those sorts of things.
let me see. I wish I'd known that because my
Job
client
fine,
really
not to be.
needed somewhere to go. We had a rough time finding
Well,
him housing.
that
We got it, but it was where did he ended up at? Across the pond. Is that what it's called? Across the pond, something like that. It's actually not bad. It's nice. So I think it's nice.
so that's something that the company itself is looking into to being able to provide for individuals like that. Hopefully within the next year.
When you say being able, are you talking about having a dedicated individual that's what they're doing consistently?
Housing.
Housing.
We
Or you're
have
going to build housing and
we're going to rehab houses.
rehab
So
housing.
we have 6 houses that we own
Okay.
as part of our property portfolio.
Okay.
And
No?
2024 is our goal to start rehabbing those houses. So
Okay.
right now it's all about cash flow. So getting the catering company up and running to give us positive cash flow is really important. We're working on bringing a new restaurant concept to Metro Detroit called Orizaba Mexican Scratch.
What does that mean?
So we're negotiating a 10-store franchise to open up 10 Orizaba stores in Metro Detroit that'll employ our population. Each store will employ 12 to 15 people, and our first store should be up and running late spring of next year.
Now, what is the menu? What is that?
So Orizaba is a mountain region in southern Mexico, and they're known
Okay.
for their street food. It's a resort area,
Okay.
and the food's very similar to Chipotle or Qdoba, except there's no salt in it.
Really?
And everything is made from scratch every day, so there's no freezers, there's no packaged goods, unlike Qdoba and Chipotle. So price point's about the same. It's fast casual dining, so you can get in, get a meal for your entire family and walk out. And Mexican food is the fastest growing segment of the fast casual marketplace nationwide. So we want to get that up and running. And then we want to get the venue space developed too. So those are the three things that are taking all of our focus right now.
Oh, okay.
And then the housing development will follow behind that.
Okay. So
But-
now, is it going to be housing where you're like renting a house, or is it like a room and board?
Some of it's going to be room and board. Some of
Okay.
it's going to be where we're renting apartments. Some of it's going to be where we're renting a house.
Okay.
Eventually, we're working with a couple of developers that actually want to build housing that's in the $125,000 to $175,000 range. So it's more affordable for somebody making $50,000 to $60,000 a year.
Okay.
And because we're right across the freeway from Midtown, where the same house would be $1 million, they can get a good quality house very close to downtown and all the action, and not have to leave the city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think those tiny houses would be nice. I don't know why I love. You don't like those tiny houses? I like them. They're like, they make sense for somebody just out of college or just first job. You maybe didn't go to
Those ones
college.
off the lodge are really cute.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
Yes, they are.
No,
Those are,
they-
they require organization and a person who's not very materialistic, because you can't have a whole bunch of stuff and put in these places. You have to be very minimalist.
Rudy would need two of them, one for him and one for the dog.
Oh, for Blue.
No, because I like to go get away from myself. You can't do that in one of them things.
Oh no, you can't.
You can't.
So we're looking at building around our greenhouse. We're looking at building 25 to 30 of them starting next year. And they're going to be an Airbnb concept. So people can come and they can immerse themselves in local food, farm to table. So they can come and spend a week or 2 weeks and go to cooking demonstrations, learn about urban farming, learn about value-added production, food distribution, work with our guys as volunteers if they want. And we think that that's going to be a huge opportunity. Detroit has always been on the leading edge of local food, farm to table. And I think that the more we can push the envelope where people can actually come here from other parts of the country and look at what we're doing, and be able to stay here, so they're not staying in like the Marriott downtown.
Right,
Nothing against the Marriott, but it's just an alternative type place to stay. I think it's going to be a big hit.
It sounds like it's going to be something very popular.
Yeah.
I might have to apply for a job. I'm just saying.
We'll be looking for the Airbnb manager. You think what you do is hard? Imagine renting out 25 or 30 tiny homes on a weekly basis.
I can handle that because I don't have to go in on.
So
I'm gonna take your job, Rudy. I'm sorry. It's got.
So I've got a friend that has 10 Airbnbs in the city of Detroit, and he always looks tired. And I'm like, why do you always look tired? And he said, because I'm busy between 2 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the morning, because the people that rent these places are usually young people partying.
Oh, okay.
And it's part of our contract that they can't be doing that. And so I have to literally go around and make sure that they're not doing that. And if they are, kick them out.
Yeah.
And he said, so I'm up all night.
Exactly. I actually talked to somebody who was telling me that, saying that they're renting the places because it's cheaper than getting a hotel room, and then they think they can do anything in there.
Yeah.
And the neighbors are having issues and
Yeah.
complaining.
And well, the hotel will come in and go, look, you can't have 12 people in this one bedroom.
Oh, so the hotels are getting involved.
Well, the hotels literally.
I
'cause
thought
people-
you were saying they were getting involved in the Airbnb.
No.
Saying
So
that they can't.
where the hotel will send somebody up because you're making too much noise, and
Right.
they'll knock on the door and see you got 12 people in a bedroom,
Yeah.
and the smoke's billowing out the door. So they'll kick them out, right? So
Okay.
with an Airbnb, generally it's an absentee. It's a big house, and so they have way more room to spread out and party.
Wow. Okay, so I want to let's do this commercial real quick because I got a question about this thing. Do something. How you just sit here and do absolutely nothing. I'm just telling you, you ain't getting paid today. You ain't getting paid today.
Do I need to so you can laugh?
I did the commercial. It's your turn to do the commercial.
Thank you for watching Laugh, Talk, Giggle.
Thank you.
Live on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Airing every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Facebook,
YouTube,
Twitter,
Twitch,
Twitter Live.
Please like,
share, subscribe, and tag a friend. And don't listen to him. Just listen to when I say it. Don't listen to him when he's cussing. And check out Recovery Park. You guys are available online because I went online and I was able to Google.
Yep.
And I didn't get to, I only had 5 minutes because I was sitting in my car and I pulled it up. But you have a website. What's your website?
Recoverypark.org.
Recoverypark.org. And then there was another one on there.
Recovery Park Farms.
That's what I saw.
ORG.
So you can check out those things. I think they are scanning across the bottom of the screen. I don't have my eye spectacles on, so I can't see, but the address is running across there as well. So definitely check them out, see what they're doing. Maybe you can, are you looking for volunteers in certain things yet?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
Probably not till spring of next year. We don't have the capacity to handle a lot of volunteers.
Okay. Do you take referrals with individuals? How do they find out about Recovery Park?
So all they have to do is go to the website or just Google Recovery Park. Our phone number will pop up. If somebody's looking for a job or if somebody needs referral services, just call us.
Okay.
And they'll leave a message and we'll get back with them. Rudy will get back with them.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Oh, God. He's so mean.
He'll put on his happy face.
Oh, you can put on your happy face when you talk to him. So tell me about the Black Bottom. How did that come about and it
Black
moved?
Bottom Heritage Festival.
So Black Bottom Heritage Festival started. We did a community event last year.
Okay.
Just as the season was ending, but we were getting ready to announce that we were opening back up. And about 50 people showed up from the neighborhood.
Okay.
And we had barbecue and whatever, and Rudy was the DJ. So people thought that it would be interesting if we had more options than just Rudy as the DJ. So if we had some live options, so we reached out to the Raven Lounge, we reached out to Pastor Andre at the church, and a couple of other WJZZ, Roger, and some other people, and we formed a committee, and we were going to do a Black Bottom Heritage Festival this year, but we just didn't have enough time to package it all together. I mean, the bureaucracy in the city of just getting a permit to run an event is like months long. So the idea is to not only introduce people to the heritage of Black Bottom, going all the way back to the Native Americans and the French, because Black Bottom was named for the color of the soil, and then migrating it up through the Black migration from the south, and then the Poles and the Germans migrating into the neighborhood, and then how the neighborhood's changed over time, but then introducing art and music into that conversation. So it's just not a history lesson.
Okay.
So the history is being taught through local art, and it's also being taught through music. We decided on several kinds of music. So Pastor Andre's into religious hip hop, so he's going to introduce some religious hip hop artists, and then WJZZ Roger's bringing in jazz artists, and then the Raven Lounge is bringing in some blues artists. So we want to make sure that we have maybe 8 or 10 shows. Our first one is going to be August 18th of next year.
Now, is it a weekend thing or a one day?
Our first one's going to be a one day. It's going to be from noon till 8 on a Saturday. We're going to have a couple stages set up.
Okay.
We're going to have a prayer booth. We're going to have an expungement booth. We're going to have local artists selling their wares. We're going to have some food trucks. We're going to be highlighting our local produce. It's just a way for us to start branding the neighborhood as the neighborhood's coming back.
Yeah.
And that there's activity going on in the neighborhood. There's people that are interested in seeing Detroit be successful, and this area is like the next progression out of downtown and midtown that should develop.
Okay.
So we're really excited about it.
So do you get to DJ again?
No, not this time.
Okay.
DJ,
Well, yes.
For that,
yes, for in between sets.
Okay. So there's you said 3 stages, or?
there's going to be 2 stages, and we're going to alternate between both stages. And people, the artists are going to have half-hour segments.
Okay.
So they're not going to be long segments because we want to highlight as many artists as we can. And then we're going to do 15 minutes in between each session so people have time to get off stage and get on stage.
Okay.
And we're going to have Rudy DJing in the
so we have
background.
to turn that down.
Oh, okay.
And we also need somebody to take care of all the mics and amps and equipment, and that's his job.
You're like a roadie.
And set up the stage and take down the
You
stage.
gonna be
and,
tired. You think you're tired
No,
now?
no.
Look, he think he tired now. He really gonna be tired.
and put up the canopy over the stage and take it down.
You're gonna need a whole staff to work with you. You're gonna have to get you a staff to work
Make sure
with
that
you.
all the artists have cold water and ice.
Oh yeah, you're gonna need a staff.
Oh, gosh.
You're gonna have to, because you gotta have a staff to do everything, and then you're running 2 stages simultaneously.
We'll hire somebody for it.
No.
Yeah, you can't do it by yourself.
No.
Don't
I've,
try.
I've already got some companies lined up that's gonna come.
Oh, you
put
gonna
the
have a
stage
company
up.
come in?
That's right. Put the stage up.
But what about?
Put the speakers up. The microphones up.
You got pockets? You got
Right,
money,
that
money in
sounds
them
like
pockets?
a lot of money. And then you gotta have them, rotate things out. Make sure your artists have somewhere. You gotta have your booths or little, what do you call them, trailers for the
Yeah,
artists.
that's
to
why we
change
wanted
in.
a year to prepare.
Yeah, it's a lot involved.
But we're excited to be hosting it. We're excited that WJZZ is going to partner of it.
That's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
So that means we'll be promoting it every week here, every single week. We'll be like, August 18th, August 18th, August 18th, August 18th.
You're going to do the commercial. We're going to do a 30-second, hi, my name's Rudy. I'm here to tell you about the Black Bottom Heritage Festival.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome. So you're doing a PSA commercial?
Yeah, so every half hour you'll be on TV all day, every day.
I have no idea who this Rudy character is. His name is Mr. D.
He said, I'm Mr. D. Mr. D.
Mr. D.
Come on.
Laugh, talk, giggle on Cool JCC. Cool TV.
His DJ name is Rudy Jam's Best.
Is that what it is?
Yes, it is.
Rudy
Yes,
Jam's
it is. Jams is in parentheses.
That's awesome.
Does she know how you got to start in DJ?
No, I must hear.
So Rudy has been talking about being a DJ and he
'Cause I
started
used
buying some equipment. And so one of the fellowships I belonged to was having a dance, and I suggested that Rudy should be the DJ for the event, and they hired him.
Oh, wow.
And they wanted something to put on the flyer, and so they're always talking about jams, so I just put Rudy and then quotes Jam's Best, and that's how he became a DJ, and that's how he got stuck with the name. And now he's doing like 2 to 3 events per week.
Wow.
So he's got
Make
a
money.
side job.
Make money. That's awesome.
And he does a good job. He can play everything from country and western to polkas to hip hop to rap.
Look at you.
He's even been playing South American Latin music for me.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
like Enrique Iglesias.
Oh.
Enrique.
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 So you got food vendors coming in. So are you doing anything specific for like children, like maybe a clown or face painting stuff type, or?
So he's afraid of clowns, so we're not doing
You
a
afraid of
clown.
clowns for real?
Yeah.
For real, for real.
Yeah. Why you think I don't work where we used to work anymore?
Well, I was gonna say there's clowns all over there.
So we're gonna have a couple of bounce houses. We're gonna have
Okay.
some water things like a water
a dunk
slide
tank?
and a dunk tank.
Don't
Yeah.
tank, don't tank.
Yeah. We'll probably do some face painting and some of those sorts of
Okay.
things. We're going to do a children's story section so people can come and, if they're younger kids, they can have books read to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm trying to convince
And,
them that I
and
was
so
to
you
do
so you have to have an area for seniors too. You have to have something for seniors because the population is there and they're getting out now.
Yeah.
Where they were, kind of in, and a lot of them were isolated through COVID, so now they're like trying to get out. And the river walk is like something that a lot of them do, but that would be awesome. Y'all do like maybe the same.
So I just
way-
had back surgery. I'm 67, and the Riverwalk, I can't handle it yet.
I have
So
never
going
been
so
over.
going to a smaller event that has a section for seniors, that's easy to get to and has some comfortable
Right,
seating
maybe
and
something
stuff.
for them to sit down
Yeah.
and just maybe some information or
Yeah. And
I
it-
think the food part that you were talking about would be something that they would gravitate towards
Yeah.
too.
And we'll in addition to food that you can buy, we're gonna have free samples too. So
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not just gonna
Be
be.
there.
And
Well, I'm coming to get my collard greens because y'all said that on live TV that I get collard greens, so I'm coming for collard greens. Just tell me when and where.
Stop by any day of the week
Okay.
and ask for Rudy, and he'll take you over to the farm and you can cut your own.
Oh, I can cut them myself.
You can cut them yourself.
Yeah, got me up.
So, that's really cool.
Yeah,
That is
like
awesome.
really fresh.
Take you over there, get you the scissors. Just cut them yourself.
Is
You
it
can't-
those like
you
dome
can't- you-
things?
No,
Yeah.
you can't cut them straight. Have to be snap angle cut.
I know. Y'all
Oh,
don't
you
get none
know,
of them
I'm sure
cabbage
they do.
worms or anything. I had collard greens this year. I could not get rid of the cabbage worms. I have tried everything. I put cayenne pepper on there with the mix with the oil.
The worms are on the vegetables?
They're eating the little.
Oh, you're growing
green,
them. So
Well, I was growing them. I killed them with too much cayenne pepper, so I just said forget it.
you do two things, either neem oil.
That was mixed in the cayenne pepper.
No, just neem oil, just regular straight.
Just regular
neem oil.
straight.
Yeah.
I see. I didn't do that.
Or just get some palm olive dish soap
Mm-hmm.
and put a little bit in a bottle, a spray bottle with water, and just spray it on it.
Yeah, I should have tried that.
It'll kill them.
We was out there every day picking them off. So.
But you have to spray every time you see them. You got to keep spraying. Eventually they'll disappear. It'll take a couple of weeks, but they'll go away.
I think I gave up. I felt they just won. I mean, my collard greens were gorgeous. Then I went out there one day and it was like something had just like, what you call it, like a BB gun and went.
That's it.
It's amazing how there's nothing there, then you put something there, and then when you look up, something else comes there because it's there. But it wasn't there when there wasn't nothing there.
So you know what's going to help with those, in addition to us spraying the neem oil, the bees.
You and these bees, man.
Are you guys doing honey?
So we're working with a company called Beehives. It's a young African American couple that's really into bees, and so they have
Oh, we can have them all.
they have two test hives right now, and hopefully within a year we're gonna have 100 hives in our footprint.
Awesome.
And we're planting wildflowers, a prairie of wildflowers, so the bees will have somewhere to pollinate
Right, they love
all
my
season long.
information.
So each hive, when they're fully up and running, it takes about 2 years, will produce 80 to 100 pounds of honey. And we're going to co-brand with Beehives in Recovery Park a brand of honey that we'll
Okay.
have on the grocery shelves. And Rudy's going to learn all about, because he loves bees.
You don't like
Bees
bees?
are his friends.
I
Oh, man.
love. You know, I have a fit if I see somebody, especially swatting at a
No,
bee. And I got my son swatted a bee on me
That's the worst thing you can do,
I
because they
see-
get mad.
because it was on me, and I was just sitting there looking at it. And he's like, "Oh, there's a bee," and he swung. I said, "No, leave it alone." And then he just kept. And next thing I know, it just.
It bit you.
I was like,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
And I looked at him. I just wanted to just like hit him in his throat, but you know, that would be.
I mean, you've seen the people
adult
on
abuse.
TV, they're naked arm, they just push all the bees aside to get to the honey,
Yeah.
right? They'll leave you alone.
That's
Well,
what I
so I
They
know
don't want anything you have.
So I've been traumatized by not bees, but by them stupid yellow jays. So I'm I'm on the tractor doing what I'm minding my own business, and my man decides he's just gonna sting me in the back of my neck for no reason.
A yellow jacket.
Yeah,
You
I'm
probably
like,
hit its nest.
Yep, you did something because they just don't attack.
He just apparently he didn't like the tractor. Okay, making all the noise.
So you don't have to worry
man.
about that, because we donated it.
Wow. Now the honey thing is really awesome. One of my clients, sister or somebody, she's doing her own honey, and it's like delicious. And you know, with allergies, I have like horrible allergies, and so people with allergies should use local honey, because that's where all the pollen and everything
Yep.
that you're allergic to is in the honey. And I want it in my yard, but I just don't think my space is big enough.
So bees almost disappeared from Southeast Michigan because of all the pollution. There's just starting to come back, and a lot of people are reintroducing them. But you should get Tim and his wife on the show,
I would love
because
that.
they're really into bees.
Because that's what I want. I want to put, just start my own in the backyard. I love honey, so it would like be perfect. And then I'm not afraid of bees. I've never,
Oh, well, you go ahead, Miss Badshell.
I'm
So
not afraid
so the
of
best way to attract bees is to go to your local where you get your flowers, and tell them that you want some pollinators, and put those in your garden.
Oh, I have them.
You do?
I have bees all through my yard.
Okay.
Yeah, I have bees out there. I just don't have my.
Oh,
I
your
wanna-
bees.
I want to have my bees.
You want to be the queen bee?
Yes, I want to have. I want my bees. All of you. I want,
So-
and I want my own honey, so I want to try it.
So I think if you have a major hive in your backyard, you probably wouldn't want that. That's a lot of bees.
You know, the lady that's doing it, she has it in her yard. But the thing is, she has a huge yard.
Yeah.
And the only thing that kind of concerned me was neighbors. because you got to be respectful. And if I have the bees, they're going to be coming and going, and everybody doesn't like bees.
So what you do is you have a meeting of all your neighbors, and you tell them that you're going to do bees, and you get them all excited about bees, so you can teach them all.
And give them free honey.
And you give them free honey.
No. But that's what I want to do. I do, but I think I need to have a bigger. My yard is not very big.
Well, we want the bees because we want the honey, but we also want the bees to pollinate our vegetables. Because when there's no bees there, then we have to bring in bees. So you can buy bees in a box called power bees. You just punch little holes and the bees fly out, but every month you have to replace them.
Yeah, because they're not going to stay.
Because they're not going to stay.
Right. That's like when I bought the.
That's what we used to do a couple years ago before COVID. We'd buy boxes of power bees. It's like a cardboard box that we put
Why they not gonna
files in.
stay? No queen?
Well, that's not their
That's not
habitat.
their home.
They're going to find a place so they can,
They want a
breed their
real
own.
nest with 10,000 other bees and
Right.
a couple of queens to service.
Just like when you buy the praying mantis. Like years ago, I bought praying mantis for my yard. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get these praying mantis. They're gonna kill up all this little stuff. And I bought I bought 3 of the little cocoons. They hatched. I had them everywhere. And about 2 months later, I couldn't find one. I was so upset. I was like, y'all cannot go to other yards.
They moved on. You
Right.
didn't have enough food for them.
Right, you have to stay here. You just kind of think that you.
It's a dumb moment for me. Dumb.
But I mean,
Well, they won't stay unless, like you say, it's got to be the environment has to be conducive for them. And obviously it wasn't because they weren't there in the first place. So I'm introducing them there, and they still left. So it wasn't.
but if you have bees, that means you've got good pollinators. And I mean, just put more pollinators and you'll get more bees.
I know, but I want
It won't be
honey.
your bees. I mean,
I want
unless you want to put little name tags on all of them.
JB, JB2, JB3. That's JBB right there. I think you guys are doing awesome over there. I see Mr. D didn't tell me y'all doing any of that. He just come up here and don't say anything. I know nothing about all of this stuff. Nothing. Every day, sitting up there telling me nothing.
That's surprising. He's got the biggest mouth at the office. Talks all the time, and you put him on the radio where he needs to talk, and
Right.
he doesn't say anything. He just stares at you.
I used to watch him run groups.
I
He
think
used to
it's-
have
I think it's
groups of
stage fright.
50 and 60 guys up there, and he would run them groups, and them guys would be on point. And he didn't need a microphone, ran the whole group.
I've never seen that.
You never
side
seen him
of
run a
him.
group? Oh, he's excellent. Rudy's awesome when he runs his groups.
Cause you was at Maine and I was at Macomb.
You is that man?
Yeah, you.
That's one of the things when I met him. That's what he was running groups, doing recovery coaching. He was doing the whole 9.
So he needed to get out of what he was doing because he needs to do something more physical. So he's doing all of our grounds. He's our project manager for all of our grounds and buildings maintenance,
Oh, okay.
in addition to using his social work degree. So that gives him the physical activity that I think he needs to
calm
blow
that-
up
all that energy.
the energy down,
Mm-hmm.
and then to use his master's degree too.
That's awesome.
He's doing a
See,
great job.
Look at you.
I love him.
Can I take a loan? Because you obviously are like up here, and I'm just here. I'm trying to reach where you are. I want to, achieve things.
Pull $5,000 out of that pocket and lend it to her.
Oh, that's nice. Is that part of your logo there? I like that.
That's our old logo, actually.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
nice. So we have one of the best
That's okay.
engineers. He just pulls things up. So as we're talking, he's
Oh, no, that's
listening.
okay.
And that's really good because sometimes they don't be listening, so he's listening and he's
Yeah.
paying attention, so
Yeah.
he knows what's going on, and he's really promoting it, which I like. So Derek is awesome. I always say Derek is awesome, and don't y'all try to steal him from us because we need Derek to stay here. But he's awesome, and he is. He's really good at what he does.
So you mean when we launched Recovery Park Radio,
Oh no, you can't take Derek unless I come.
it'll be a global station for food.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, we put them upstairs in the back there.
Yeah, the nice office with,
Nice
the
office.
kitchen and the
Yeah.
private bathroom.
Who get an
Yeah.
office?
Yeah.
You giving Derek an office? Y'all trying to take Derek?
No, I'm saying
Oh.
that's where he's gonna have the radio.
That's actually a really good idea. Our company has their own little radio thing that they do, and they have a channel, and they do it every Sunday. And it's really good because you're doing self-promotions and then collaborations because you can bring in other agencies and they can collaborate but still build you up as you go.
Our big thing right now is I'm trying to keep the whole team focused because we've got so many ideas bubbling. We got to get the catering company up. We got to get the Orizabas going. We got to get this building converted. Everything else is like nice shiny
It's
stuff,
coming
and it just
later.
goes down the
Yeah.
parking lot.
Yeah, I
So
gotta be
the
patient.
Orizabas, is that something somewhere else and you buying into a franchise, or is that a creation?
So Orizabas is a very small franchise based out of Las Vegas.
Okay.
So I went there last July. Don't ever go to Vegas in July. It was 105
Oh, yeah, I've
at
done
6
that.
o'clock at
Yeah.
night. It was horrible.
I've done it. It's the worst
People are
thing
like, it's a
ever.
dry heat. I'm like, it's 105.
It's hot either way you look at it.
Anyways, and we really like the concept, and then we went to the 4 restaurants that they have there, and I'm a kick the tires guy. So the guy that was with me is my food director, and we would go to the restaurant a half an hour before they opened, and we'd act like we were just customers. They didn't know who we were.
Okay.
And the first hour that each of the restaurants was open, all the clientele were all Latino, Mexican, and which is a good sign.
Right,
when they're going
right.
to eat their own food.
Because you want
right?
to see if you eat your own food.
Yeah. And I would sit there and I would talk to them and go, hey, I'm new to, I just got in Vegas the other day and I heard about this place and, this food's really good. And they would tell us it's like grandma used to make,
Oh, wow.
in Mexico and all that sort of stuff. So we really got enamored to the idea of doing it. And then we started talking to the franchise people because they're based out of Colorado and what their expansion plans were. So our first restaurant will be number 9 in their chain.
Okay.
So it's a really young franchise. But we plan on opening up 10 of them.
Okay, so now is the first one going to be in the Shane Ferry area, or is that going to be
No,
somewhere
so unfortunately, their target market for like their demographics are a little higher education, higher income, young families with 3-4 kids that are with active lifestyles.
different? Okay.
So they're going to probably ring the city, like Shelby Township and Rochester Hills and Northville, Novi, but we're still going to, our workforce is still going to be working out there.
Okay.
Eventually, we'll bring them into the city because they have Melania's Kitchen. No,
Oh, I know.
Molina's
Yeah,
Kitchen.
right
not
there off
Melania.
of Mac.
Wasn't Melania's Trump's ex-wife, right? Molina's. So Molina's Kitchen is a vegan concept that they're,
Okay.
with Mexican food. And
Okay.
so that caters to a more urban audience, younger audience that's always on the go. And those are very small restaurants. They're like 500-600 square feet.
Okay.
So they're mostly takeout. Detroit probably won't see one of those for about 3 years. The city.
Well, and that's in the time that their expansion plan and
Yeah.
it'll be right on time, pretty much.
My biggest fear with the because I do have fears is that we're going to open our first restaurant. We're not going to be able to find employees.
Wow.
Because people are not returning to the job market
Oh,
like
to the
they
service
like for the
industry.
service industry. Like the McDonald's near me is starting people at $18.50 an hour just to serve fries out the window, and they can't find people.
Wow. 1850. I'm just thinking that's what 37,000 a year.
Yeah.
If you go full time,
Yeah.
that's not bad
But
money.
I mean,
to
for a
flip
start
burger.
for a starter job,
right,
you know,
37,000.
that's good money.
That's
If I were 21 and in
I
college,
sure would.
I
I
sure
was
would.
thinking that. Or if you were a retired senior and just want a little income, even if you just do half of that,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
bad
it gets you
money.
out of the house. You get
Mhm.
socialized. You're doing something productive. Yeah.
That's not bad money.
But I got to keep my team focused. So on those 3 things,
Okay.
because we have a lot of ideas kicking around. He wants to get at the houses like yesterday.
Oh, you want to do the wreath?
He has this one. It has one. It's a 3-unit home.
What is 3 units? Three different apartments?
Yes.
Okay. Are these all on
So
the
it's
east
like
side?
it's like
Yes.
the front part, the back part, and then the upper part, right?
Mhm.
And my dream is to take it and turn it into transitional living.
Okay.
And then like the house next door, right? Turn that into the office where you can come and run it and oversee.
And I'm telling Rudy that he can have that dream, but I'm teaching
But
him patience.
But I have
Oh,
to.
you definitely
I
have to have patience.
yeah.
Because you do have to have a funding stream. You want to
Yeah,
have consistent income coming in.
Yeah, well,
If
you
you
know, the instant gratification kicked in, No, mine, I want.
I want it right now.
But then I
And
understand
grant
the
funding-
sustainability.
Well, and grant funding goes through cycles, right? So 10 years ago, urban agriculture was one of the big things that they were funding. And workforce development for people coming out of prisons was something they were funding. it's moving away from that. So it's going more toward empowering African Americans to start their own businesses. It's going toward neighborhood revitalization, like the Avenue of Fashion.
Right.
Okay, so they're doing different types of targeting for their money. So to find a foundation now that's willing to step back in time and still fund us is hard to do. So creating our own revenue streams is the only way to do it.
Right, because I know you have the Skillman Foundation, you got Skillman, Mott, Kellogg's, you got all of them out there, the major ones.
You got Herb, you got
Are
Kresge.
they're not doing any?
None of them, not really.
Wow.
Not really.
So, actually, the other route, doing your own income, is actually better in the long term, because now you're not accountable to. Because once you get those grants, they have different criteria that you have to meet, and then you're struggling every year to show that you met this criteria, because you got to put your dog and pony show on for that.
And the reporting.
Yeah.
The paperwork. And I'm not knocking foundations. I mean,
Oh,
they really
I've
helped
done-
us in our early days. And I mean, if one stepped up to the plate today and wanted to help us, I'm not going to say no. But not being able to have to depend on them and have your own revenue stream that you can count on, that you're the master of, right? I think is really, really important.
It is, it is.
It's just like having your own income, which is what we teach our guys. Having your own income and paying your own bills is better than waiting for Uncle Sam to send you a check.
Right, definitely, because they're not created to live. That's survival money.
I don't even know how somebody can survive on that. I mean, some of our guys tell us what they're getting on like Social Security disability, and I'm like, how do you live on $900?
They're not. That's the problem. Because then and some of them are getting less than that. Was it $756 or $583, and then you have to try to get a bridge card and insurance. But you're just surviving, so that makes them out trying to hit a lick here, trying to do something over there. That's always creating that door to go back and backslide. So without a doubt, it's something. Oh wait a minute. Let me make sure, because every time I always end the show and we still be on the air. We have 2 minutes. Well, I do want to thank you for coming on.
My
I really
pleasure.
learned a lot. I'm just like really interested in your event next year. So if y'all need a volunteer, I love throwing events, and I've run a lot.
I'm trying to convince him to allow us to have just a small one.
A small what?
Small, like we did last year.
Oh, just something
With the
small
50
prior
people
to.
for the community.
We're not going to do
Oh, a
that
community
this
event.
year. But we are going to be
This
looking.
year's nearly over with, to be honest.
But we are going to be looking for an MC.
A MC. Hey, y'all know I like to. Can I curse? Because if I can't curse, I don't know. We got the religious people.
The only time you can't curse is when you're introducing the hip hop religious music. Or Pastor Andre's going to get up and say
People
some.
Be like, where did you get her from? But I do good, don't I? Heard my mouth. I'll be like, don't curse.
You
But I love
didn't
her.
swear once in this last 55 minutes.
See? Give me some. Give me some. Give me some here. Y'all know it. I try. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I just like to say a curse word every now and then.
I'm like you. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs.
Right. I don't do any of that. I never have. So I like to curse. Like when everybody else be getting their little drinking stuff on, I'll be like, let me just curse and say a few words.
I was telling somebody the other day, if I had to come back and I had to have a disease, I'll take Tourette's syndrome.
Oh my God.
I could just blurt out.
I might already have that. I don't know.
No,
You
if
see
you
me
did, we would have heard it
sometimes.
already.
I have Tourette's in control.
There you go.
Because sometimes my mother be like, did you just... She just shake her head and walk away.
Like
I'm
your mother
sorry,
never
Sue.
swore.
Right. But my mother, honestly, she let me curse since I was like